everyone, Jennifer here, back with another edition of Movie Talk Special Editions. Now, it's Halloween, and this week's movie is going to be on a movie that kind of fits in with the whole Halloween motif, style, theme, whatever you want to call it. It's not a Halloween movie, but it does have aspects of that type of feel to it. And that movie is The Brothers Grimm. Two brothers are charged with eliminating the creatures within a forest of French-occupied Germany, only to discover that, unlike all the other places where they've expelled creatures, this one is real. Okay, highlights of the movie. This movie was made back in 2005, so it's just under 20 years old. It is a fantasy adventure film that tells the story of the brothers Grimm. It is set in French-occupied Germany in the early 19th century, so in the 1800s. And I don't think I really need to go into too much explanation of who the brothers Grimm are. Even if you didn't know, you've known their work since you were a little kid. They are the ones who collected all of those beautiful folk tales that Disney just loves to make movies out of. So Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Rapunzel, The Princess and the Frog. Those are all Brothers Grimm stories. In this movie, while it's not a direct, obviously, portrayal of their lives, what's interesting is that if you look at the movie enough times, you watch it enough times, you will see little snippets of each of their stories, and also stories that technically aren't theirs but fall into the same category. Okay, things I liked about this movie. First off, I like the storyline. This movie was actually really good. The first time I saw it was actually in English class, right around this time of year, because it's just one of those movies that is just a good movie to watch this time of year, because it's creepy, but it's not overtly creepy. I mean, I've seen worse. So I like the storyline. It does a very good job of incorporating quite a bit of the Brother Grimm tales into it. You have the little gingerbread man, you have Red Riding Hood, Hansel and Gretel, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Rapunzel. They incorporate quite a bit of the Brothers Grimm tales into this movie, which, you know, obviously they would do to some degree because it is the Brothers Grimm. You see tales from aspects from other fairy tale like movies. Like there's The Wizard of Oz is in there, which was not a Brothers Grimm story. And a few others that don't quite come to mind just yet. It's been a while since I've actually watched the movie. But you see a lot of fairy tale pieces in the story. the majority of them are from Grimm fairy tales, are directly from Grimm fairy tales, but there are a few that are not. There are some from Hans Christian Andersen, who wrote the Little Mermaid and the Snow Queen, which is what Frozen is based off of. You see aspects from The Wizard of Oz, which I have no idea who wrote that. I know it wasn't the Brothers Grimm or Hans Christian Andersen, because as far as fairy tales go, that one's way more recent. But it is, because it is a fairy tale based movie, it makes sense that they would incorporate pieces from other fairy tales that weren't necessarily the Brothers Grimm. They did the majority of the Brothers Grimm, as I've mentioned numerous times already, but there are some that are not the Brothers Grimm. Secondly, I like the plot line. This was a very good plot. This had a very, very good plot line. It was not hard to follow. And it was very interesting. It took a lot of interesting twists and turns and whatnot. So I did really like that. Finally, the characters. I liked the characters. And they had the Brothers Grimm play off each other so well. The two actors playing the brothers did such a great job the way they played off of each other. You honestly believed they were brothers. It was so good. So I liked the characters. I liked how they had the Brothers Grimm kind of portrayed in this movie as con men who used local folklore to con people into believing that there were witches or monsters or something in the area, and that they could destroy them when it was really just the two people that were helping them. So I did kind of like that. Where in reality, I don't believe that's what the Brothers Grimm were. They were writers. They collected, and travelers. They collected stories from Germany, and not necessarily just Germany, but also France and Hungary and Austria, basically all over Europe, and took all those folk stories and folk tales and wrote them down so they wouldn't be forgotten. And but I loved how they were portrayed in the movie. I thought that was very good. I liked the village. The village was really cool, the village that they're in. It just looked like your quintessential fairy tale village to a degree, but with a little bit of creepy on the side because of what's going on. The forest was so cool. It looked like, which is what it was supposed to look like, a haunted forest. It just gave you that feel. I mean, the trees moved and everything, which was so cool. And then all of the little aspects of the different fairy tales, whether or not they were Brother Grimm fairy tales or not, was just amazing. I absolutely loved that. There was a lot about this movie I absolutely loved. Okay, cast. This movie had a great cast of actors. I focused mostly on, of course, the Brothers Grimm. The leader of the French soldiers, his second in command, I guess you could say, even though he wasn't French, he was Italian. The character, I don't necessarily think the actor was. If I'm wrong, I apologize. And then the people that were kind of helping them, the Brothers Grimm, throughout the movie. Okay, feel free to check out my other videos. things I'd like to touch on. First off, a quick reminder on my comment rules. Number 1, no mean comments. Number 2, no bad or curse words in comments. Number 3, I'm not opposed to debates, but please keep it civil. And finally, number 4, be respectful to me and each other. Okay, please leave your comments and questions in the comment section. I do love to read those. Also, feel free to follow me on Wattpad, Tumblr, Instagram, and Twitter. I do have my name for those 4 sites right there on the screen, as well as the pictures I use for the icons. Please note that all pictures seen within this video do belong to their respected artists. I own absolutely nothing. And the links for any sites mentioned will be within this video will be in the description section. Okay, YouTube subscribers. Any of my videos that cannot be found on YouTube are on my Facebook page. Facebook friends. Basically the same deal. Any of my videos that cannot be found on Facebook are on my YouTube channel. And to anyone who's interested, you can feel free to check out my Facebook group, Fanfic Corner. Please like and share if you're watching on Facebook, or like and subscribe if you haven't already, if you're watching on YouTube. And as always, thank you for watching, and have a very happy and safe Halloween.